waterfowl, and they weren't in the air there, but they were all doing it kind of.
Hey, what's up, everybody? JC coming at you. I'm sorry that we're late. I know I said that we were going to be around 9 or 9:30, but this guy started to talk, and that's one of the few people that makes me shut up and listen.
Hi, guys.
So, anyway, I'll tee this up. So, great morning or great almost afternoon to everybody. And we always say great because why would we only say good? So I'm here at Dr. Ray's house, and Dan Bell, by the way, is right there, but his hair is not really appropriate. So we'll try to get him to put a hat on or something like that.
It's not coffee.
I think it looks good.
He's a coiffeur.
So anyway, Dr. Ray, this is almost 3,500 people that are following our program and or using our program and using our community and all these amazing tools that we have, using it transactionally, but also recognizing the importance of understanding what they want and the value of it and being consistent. So what's unique about this group is that they're all in this space recognizing that it's an abnormal space, because most people say they're going to do things and don't do it. So these people have all stepped into this place where they've made a decision to be afraid but do it anyway. Just that idea of like wake up and not want to get out of bed but do it anyway. So it's almost like a group that's like a beta test to see what is the value of being consistent and being driven and following that. So the reason why I would love to hear have them hear from you, and this is for those of you that are not part of Optavia, because or kind of drifting out there. This is my mentor and the co-founder of Optavia, and just a man that really is a visionary and changing the world. And he's the one that's taught me so many different things that have helped me evolve into the person that I am. So every morning when I wake up and I'm absorbing and learning, and then taking that information and acting upon it, I just want all of you to know that have never met him before. This man came into my life at a time where I thought I knew what I was doing. Meanwhile, I wasn't getting a lot of results from that, and I just think his words are so valuable. So to tee it up, Dr. A, I think what would really help these people is sometimes these people wake up and they decide to go or not to go. They always know what they want. They want to get somewhere, but they struggle like most people with the ideas about belief and things like that. And you just shared a story that I thought maybe would be relevant, and you talk about it whatever you want, about the acres of diamonds, about recognizing the value of what you have and things like that. Yeah. So I'm just going to shut up and let Dr. Ray take over.
Well, thanks, JC. We're sitting here and having a nice fire. It's kind of a misty morning here on the water. JC was down this morning seeing a bunch of waterfowl move, and what he senses in that, just kind of like when you guys go to the beach, is a connection to nature. And so for most of us, what's happened is we become an indoor species, and our kids only spend about 8 minutes a day outside. And that connection is so critical and so vital, because we are animals like anybody else, and with our technology, we've isolated ourselves from things that are very important. So as you got up this morning and decided, well, am I going to exercise? Am I going to eat a healthy breakfast? It would depend a lot on what you did the day before. And so each day is an opportunity to start changing our habits. Because basically, first we make our habits, and then our habits make us. And that's a really important statement, because your willpower, you can't every morning get up and use willpower to decide you're going to go out and run. It just doesn't work. There's going to be days when you don't feel that great. Days when you're overworked, days you're stressed out, or days the weather is not good. And so it's really important motivation is good, and I love to find out what people really want for themselves. But once they do that, it's the daily activities that make all the difference. And, as the author of The Habits of Health and building that system and working with thousands of people, the people that actually get that and actually change their habits, those are the ones that make sustainable change. You can't look outside to make those changes come from within. So JC was alluding to a very ancient book, a book that helped change many people, captains of industry, almost 60, 70, 80 years ago. And it was called Lead the Field by Earl Nightingale. And in that book, he talks about, in front of us, there's so many things, these acres of diamonds that actually are so powerful. They're right around us, and we just don't see them because we haven't brought ourselves aware to them. Inside of each and every one of us, whether we're healthy or not healthy, is the inherent capacity to heal ourselves. We know as we watch our clients and patients lose weight and starting to move more, handle stress better, we watch their whole body change. It changes because your body has the inherent capacity to heal itself. But what you do day in and day out on those little micro levels either lends you on a path towards disease or on one towards optimal health. And I was watching JC at 7:30 this morning run down the dock, lots of energy. He'd already run around our property a few times. And he has that energy, the energy that he didn't have 10 years ago. We were reflecting on where he was then. I've seen pictures of him. I didn't know him then, but I saw pictures of him on the beach with his young boys at the time. And I've watched his evolution from basic being about a 70-pound overweight guy to being in great shape, up first thing in the morning, crack of dawn, with all this energy and exuberance and wanting to help you guys. He's now paying it forward and helping you. So let's talk about you just a bit this morning. So there's one thing, right?
Can I just say, hey, by the way, take what we always do. Every single person that's watching this live right now or watching the recording, push the share button, because everybody that sees this out there is going to see what's going on right now. And there's nothing better. The greatest gift you'll ever receive is the ability to help somebody else. So please share this.
Great, JC, thanks. So let's talk about you for a moment and where you are in your life. We're all at different places, and where we are now is really a result of our past and our current habits. And I'm a big believer in habits because 50% of what we do throughout the day we're not even aware of. Our brain is designed to focus directly on what it's doing at the moment, but there's a million different things going on around it. So, when you got some automatic things going on that really help you, like if you're walking across the street, if your body senses a car coming or the vibration or something where it puts you in danger, it responds before you even think about it. So some of those mechanisms, those automatic mechanisms, protect us, and they're very important. But for most of us now, those mechanisms are now far overwhelmed by the perceived threats to us that happen throughout our day. So what I always suggest is to be able to take control and command your day. When you get up in the morning, or you can do it before you go to sleep at night, kind of plan out a few things you're going to do for yourself today, right? And usually just pick one thing. So, for instance, just as an example, I know that if I go to bed at night and I set out my running shoes by my bed, and the first thing I do when I get up in the morning is put them on, and immediately before I go in and take a shower or shave, I go down to the exercise area. And fortunately, I have an exercise area. You may or may not, but you do have you can run up your stairs. You can, if it's cold in the wintertime, you can run in place. You can, there's many things you can do. In fact, in the Habits of Health, in the back, Lori, my wife, shows you all kinds of ways you can really exercise from home, or go to the gym, or whatever works best for you. By the way, don't start off doing something you really hate to do. Find something you actually like to do and just start doing it more. And here's the key. So if I put on those shoes and go down, I work out. And once I get down there and work out, then I feel better for the rest of the day. As less as 20 minutes of active activity increases your mind and your ability and your energy and your ability to focus for 12 hours. It's a little bit like having a little bit of Ritalin and a little bit of basically Prozac. In other words, it improves your attitude, it actually improves your ability to think, and increases your level of energy and awareness. Something as simple as that. So for most of us, that would be a good cornerstone habit to start. For most of us that aren't doing that, is to get up in the morning and just get active, get your heart rate up, higher than it is at the resting rate, and do something for like 20 minutes. That'll set up your day. When you do something like that, the halo effect of that then helps everything else. So I'm going to share one thing, and then I'm going to give it back to JC, and he can ask some more questions. But here's the reality. We need to do it consistently for it to become a habit. If you just do it occasionally, you never will habitualize it. If it doesn't become a habit, you have to use your willpower every time. So I'll use the traditional story. We have New Year's comes, People make all these New Year's resolutions. Why do they do that? Well, they have a few days off. They've probably indulged and eaten too much or drank too much or gone out and partied too much. And they realize that their body's responding and saying, I don't feel that great. So they decide, I'm going to go out and run 5 miles. So they get up the next day, they put their tennis shoes on, and they go out and run. They run about 1.5 miles, and they're almost dead. The next day, they hurt so bad, they have shin splints, they can't get out of bed, and they have to call in sick from work for 5 days. And then they go, wow, what a stupid idea. And then they stop working out again. They go back and sit on their couch. So what I would do is say this. Pick a core area of something you want to start doing first. Pick out what that is. So what I say to, we have people of all ages that are part of our community. And so for, some older, maybe grandmothers, they say, well, I'd love to hold my grandchildren. I hold them in my arms, but I'm not that strong. I said, great. Well, what would you like to do? And I said, you want to try something like push-ups? And they'll go, yeah. I said, so how many push-ups can you do? And they go, oh, I can do 10 a day. And I said, how many do you do now? None. How many have you done in the last year? None. I said, so can you do a push-up right now if I asked you to? And so they, think about it, and they say, well, I'm not sure. So I said, why don't we just start? Could you get against the wall and just push off against the wall? And they go, oh, yeah, I can do that. In fact, they do it right then. You have them actually do that. Okay. Can you do one of those every day? Here, absolutely yes. So what we've done is find something they can do every day. Great. So they decide to do that, and they commit to that, and then every day they do a push-up. Now, on the days when you're doing that push-up against the wall, if you feel good, then do more. Do 2, do 3, do 4, whatever feels good, but basically do at least one. So what happens is, over time, their strength starts improving. They're doing it consistently, and then every day your mind will remind you, and it's good always to connect it to a time of the day, after a meal, whatever works, making your coffee in the morning. Find something, because that's the cue that sets up for you to do the routine, right? So do the push-up, and then you'll start doing more. And then proceed to the point where you get down and, yep, now I can do 1 on the ground, right? So then commit to 1 on the ground. And then over time, over weeks, over a few months, it takes on average about 66 days, a little over 2 months, to now start that new habit. So by the end of 2-3 months, you now every day you're doing them, right? Another key, just maybe is a time. This is what I do with guys: is after you go to the you go and urinate, do 2 push-ups every time you do that. And so you're
not in the bathroom.
Not in the bathroom. After you finish the bathroom, just to use it as a cue, because our brain likes repetition. It likes our mind likes routines. So you have a cue, you have the routine, and then the reward is, yes, I just did 2 push-ups, yes, and then you basically go on with your day. So here's my point: find something you can do every day and do it every day, and it will become a habit. Don't plan to do it on the days when you have great willpower. So people go to a meeting, they go to an event. They have something that inspires them, and then they decide to do something that they can't do every day. So make sure you do that. So that's a micro habit of health. The other thing is make a decision. What is your kryptonite? What's the one thing right now that just throws you off every day, right? Something that if this happens, then your day kind of gets messed up, right? So find out what your kryptonite is. Start one new habit, and then make a decision to... Now, for the kryptonite, when that happens and you find yourself, write down why it's happening, because it may happen multiple times during the day. There might be something that throws you off. Find out what triggers that, and then what we call make a preemptive contingency. When this happens, I'm going to do this. So for instance, let's say in the afternoon you start craving chocolate chip cookies. I'm just picking that one.
Wheat Thins.
Wheat Thins. Is that yours?
Yeah, that's my
Okay, Wheat Thins. So, and occasional Wheat Thins, okay, because it's the fiber level is much higher.
Not the whole box.
Not the whole box. Okay. So let's say, when is that? Okay, let's just take you, okay? Mm-hmm. So when does that happen?
When I walk down the grocery aisle.
Okay. All right. So here's the thing. This is called choice architecture. So bottom line is, don't walk down that aisle. Don't walk down that aisle. Because here's why. If you want to improve, change the underlying structure. So this is how we do it. 3 ways you do that. First, don't bring them into your house, right? If they're at the grocery store and you have the itching in the afternoon and you're at home and you don't have it in your house, it's very unlikely you're going to go to the grocery store to get Wheat Thins, right?
Yeah.
Okay. But
I'm not going to get the Wheat Thins no matter what, but the old me
would got them. Okay. So, here's the point. To make it easier on you, because that didn't start overnight. You've been working on this for 6-7 years now, right? Okay. So you're building up, because you're now building a habit mentality where you're constantly building new habits. And by the way, once you master one of those habits, like JC happens to decide he's getting up early, he does it naturally now. He doesn't have to think about it. It's not a forced thing. It just happens because it's now a habit. So it becomes automatic. But we'll just go back to the wheat thins. First of all, if there's things that when you're in the house makes it harder for you to do, don't put them in the house. Never bring them in the house. That's the most important thing you do. If they're in the house, and let's say some other family member, make sure you put them down on lower shelves. Make sure you get them out of eye level. Or if it's something like occasionally, like I have one of my patients basically loves popcorn. So what he does, he takes his popcorn and puts it down in the garage, right? He has to he puts it up in a shelf inside the garage. So if he has to really want it, really feel like he wants it, to have to go down, go outside, go across the walkway in the cold of the winter, go into the garage and go up to the shelf and get it, okay? That's what you really want it. Because here's the thing, this is a really important thing, and for all of you, we want to help you get healthier, but what we do is it's not that you're resisting change, you resist being changed. So that's important for you to kind of take responsibility for that and decide you want to change because you want to change, and then pick things small enough that you can do. The key to habit installation is doing it every day consistently. So,
one last thing that's going to be really relevant to these people, so if you can just visualize it, and I know you can, you've got thousands of people here at different levels of commitment and discipline committing to their health, and a lot of these people have been doing it for almost 2 months now, and what a lot of them are realizing is that they're having an impact, because this started off with a couple hundred people and now there's thousands of people. So what these people are now realizing is that when they take their own life serious, there's other people that are impacted by it. So what I'd love you to do is just maybe, close out with just saying, what is your vision for the future of this country and the world, and how we're going to get it healthy in that term?
Well, and JC, that's a very important point. The community, you don't want to ever underestimate the power of a community. We were designed that way 10,000 years ago. We were nomadic. It was critical. It's built into our DNA, working together, being compassionate together, doing the same thing, modeling each other. Those things are what are important not only for our health, but for our overall well-being. We are gregarious, and we're social animals. And we have a tendency to imitate what are the people that we most associate. In fact, the studies coming out of the Framingham group for the last 40 years looked at modeling in social nodal networks and showed that people that hang out together become the same. And they actually showed that people that are overweight or obese, they don't even need to be in the same geographic region. Just by associating with other people, you're more likely to be obese. If you're obese, your spouse is more likely to be obese. If your best friend's obese, you're even more likely. In fact, the interesting thing, your best friend, your relationship and what you do with your best friend is even more important than your family. So community is critical. What JC's done here with you guys and what you guys are doing by coming together are like-minded people making a decision that your health's important. And at a global level, I talked about this yesterday to some of our intermediate coaches. There's a difference between satisfaction and pleasure or wants. If you have a bowl of or a carton of Haagen-Dazs ice cream or Ben & Jerry's or whatever your favorite is, man, I'll tell you, that stuff is pretty good. And occasionally, once or twice a year, I might have a couple bites. But what I know and what I do is I take it out, put it in a small bowl, put the thing back in the freezer, and get out of the room. Because once you taste it, it is so rich, so addictive, so sweet, and the pleasure that occurs in the moment lights up your dopamine receptor system in your brain, the nucleus accumbens, and you say, wow, this is like cocaine, it's so good. And you only get the pleasure or the pleasure while you're eating it. As soon as you stop eating it, that pleasure goes away. And actually, the side effects coming after that can be negative. You can get hypoglycemic because your blood sugar goes up, you feel kind of icky, and then your blood sugar goes down and you feel weak. So the side effects actually are bad. But while you're doing it, you have the pleasure. Satisfaction is a very different thing. Satisfaction is what JC felt this morning when he went out and maybe ran for 15 minutes. Really, maybe while he was getting out and doing it, it was a little uncomfortable, it was a little chilly out. But once he got into it, now for the rest of the day, he has the satisfaction that his energy level's higher, he feels better, he's clear. Satisfaction goes beyond the actual event or thing you're doing. Satisfaction is doing a good deed, helping each other be successful. Satisfaction is Christmas time, giving your family presents. Satisfaction is giving to others. It's doing something where I've now done that push-up for 37 days in a row. I can do this. How we build self-efficacy isn't doing affirmations. It's actually doing the work and then building our confidence as a result of doing the work. So for all of you, listen, you've spent a couple months now, up to a couple months, really focusing on yourself. It's really important for what you're doing at this time and place, taking back, and I'd add just one thing, even if you're in a climate that's cold, put on the appropriate outfits, get outside, look at the sky, feel the nature, get out in the sunlight. You should do that for yourself and kind of honor yourself by doing that, reconnecting when it warms up, go up to a park, go to the beach, go start reconnecting to nature because it'll make all the difference.
Awesome. And that's why I wear these shirts. So anyway, thanks for being with us on a Sunday, which is an abnormal thing to work on yourself on a Sunday. But remember that 99% of the world is normal. It's the common man or the common woman. So you are being uncommon. I was thinking about this morning. This is kind of a cool thought. I think that everybody was born to be, in their version, a king or a queen. But most people never wear the crown. They're uncrowned upon by the world. So I think you guys are all amazing, and it's just an honor to be running beside you. But don't lose sight of the greatest gift ever, and that is sharing this information. This man, when he speaks, I listen not because of who I've heard he is, because of who I watch him be, and I've modeled myself and created my own version of that model. And I've taken action, and I'm getting results like you guys are getting. You guys are not here just in observance of things and then saying, hey, it's cool to know that. Remember, the whole focus of this is you're going into action, and you understand that consistency and discipline in that action is where the results come. So I hope some of this information was valuable to you, but let's take that valuable information and do two quick things with it. Put it into action today, and then in that action, share it with other people by inviting them to come with you as well. So thanks for your time today.
Just one last thing.
Yeah.
So again, going back to the habit loop, the cue, the routine, and the reward. Make sure you acknowledge and reward yourself. Now, I don't mean go out and exercise and reward yourself with a hot fudge sundae, but reward yourself. Let's say over the next 3-4 weeks, you lose 5 or 10 pounds on your way to gaining health. Go out and buy some new clothes for yourself. Reward yourself for the work you're doing, because that is how our body wants to respond. It wants, you do your 2 push-ups, go, yes. Just reward yourself. Feel good about how it makes you feel, and always connect the immediate results, because, whether you have a cheeseburger today, remember, it's not going to affect your health today, but over time it's going to make all the difference. So if you have a cheeseburger, think how you feel an hour later. You feel crappy. And when you have a healthy salad and a lean piece of poultry or whatever it is you have, look how much better you feel. So reward both the long-term consequences and the immediate ones together, and start building more of those habit loops. Remember, your habits will change and transform your life over time. One healthy habit at a time. Let's see. All right.
Bye-bye.